Hey traders, welcome back. It is Thursday, October 8th. It's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. In today's video, we're going to discuss the debate and what Kamala Harris said about decriminalization and expunging MJ records. So stick around and we'll talk about that in just 1 second. Okay, welcome back for a midday market update. So in this video, like I said, we're going to discuss a few news articles and events. So first on the list, we have a stimulus update. So we saw that Dow and SPY and most major indices gave up quite a bit of ground that they made this morning because Pelosi rejects the idea of a smaller airline aid package and wants a bigger deal done. So again, we're seeing both sides basically going in the opposite direction. There's such a divide right now amongst our, well, not, I'm from Canada, but from the political standpoint in the US, and I'm not very political. I don't want to get into that, but it's very evident that no one can really get along, and they have such different stances on everything. So it's getting very frustrating. I, for one, am getting sick and tired of hearing about stimulus. So, but I definitely think that there could be more downside if this plays out any longer and we start to see more and more economic challenges because of this as a result. So next on the list, we had the debate last night with Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. I watched the entire thing, and I do think that Kamala had better points and that she won the debate. And I was more moved by what she had to say. And like Mike Pence didn't really answer the questions that were put in front of him. He basically just dodged it and then talked about something else. So it was very evident that Kamala had the best answers, and in my opinion, she is the best suit for the position. So we also noticed that she talked about the decriminalization of marijuana and expunging records for those that have, possession or anything like that in the past. So nice to see. We saw that weed stocks were up quite a bit today. So the cannabis space seeing 5–10% gains across the board. We also have the weekly jobless claims, which came in worse than expected. So we were expecting 820,000 and it came in at a miss at 840. So pretty much all I had for news and events. So we'll take a quick look at the indices and overall market before we jump into some marijuana stock charts. But I did want to highlight, you can see that the major altcoins and Bitcoin are exploding today. You can see we're approaching 11,000. We had news that Square purchased $50 million worth of Bitcoin. So likely why we are ramping as well as the overall stock market was up big today. But you can see on that news of Pelosi, we dropped to a new low on the day, basically double bottomed here at the low of pre-market, and now we're bouncing. And we did change the 5-minute trend here with a 5-minute higher low and higher high. So we'll see how long these bulls can keep this up now that we have news out that we may not be able to expect a stimulus package. And this could potentially be a 5-minute bear flag on gold as well. Wanted to see how gold was reacting to this, but we did see that gold was notably weak from the beginning of the morning, but you can see here this is still a potential bear flag and not ruling that out. But as you can see, Bitcoin and gold, Bitcoin getting a little bit more interest because of that Square purchase of $50 million in Bitcoin. And like I said, gold just respecting this EMA 12 resistance line and this downward sloping resistance line from the descending triangle on the daily. So if we can get above and close EMA 12, that will be a good sign. And then we'll be eyeing this resistance here at this downward trending resistance line from the descending triangle. So we'll just take a quick look at IWM. IWM, bit of an indecision. SMH, semiconductors, seeing a decent day. Bulls bought the dip, approaching all-time highs. Semiconductors have been on absolute fire. We saw that the dollar today was basically going up when the market was going up, so that was notable, but I think it had to do with the fact that gold was going down and we saw some rotation from metals into the dollar as a safe haven. But you can see here we essentially double bottomed at the low here. We hit a low of 93.60. So let's see if we can get some momentum. We are in a 5-minute downtrend, so bulls want to first and foremost change that 5-minute trend in their favor, and then we'll look toward 15-minute lower highs and see where we can go from there. But lots of room to form a lower high. That's all we would expect on this bounce because of the size of the pullback. QQQ, so QQQ was trending down most of the day, and as you can see, we changed the 5-minute trend as well. So basically the market's shaking off the news of Pelosi, and you can see that we had daily inside bars that broke bull. I mentioned that in my video yesterday, and the same thing with SPY. So just be careful. I'd like to see us close above 343 to be certain that this is not a bull trap, but tomorrow is Friday and we only have one day until the end of the week. Taking a look at oil, so you can see we are breaking over this downward resistance line, and if we can close above $40, I think that's very bullish for the oil bulls. Nat gas, UNG, just take a quick look. So we are seeing an upper wick here on the daily and fading here now into the afternoon. So not immune to that stimulus news either. And that's pretty much all I had for you folks. We do have a few other sectors. So XBI, the biotech sector, seeing a bit of a red day today. XLE bouncing back, broke to a new high. So we did set a 30.80 and 30.24. So we did set a higher low and higher high. That means that we are in a daily uptrend now on XLE. XLF rejecting. See, we have an upper wick. But again, we did form a higher low and higher high. So last daily higher low is now set at 24.36. The real estate trust seeing a nice green day, but we are seeing an upper wick forming. So pulling back with the rest of the market. XLV, a little bit of an indecision candle there. And that's pretty much it. We saw TAN, the solar sector, pulling back. XHB, so the home builders ETF, pulling back here today. We did set a higher low and higher high, but not really getting much follow through at this point, but we are at all-time highs. So we're basically in blue skies. So that's pretty much all I had for the indice review. So jumping into some individual stocks. So I'll bring up MJ in just a second, but taking a look at Apple, you can see we sold off most of the morning and we sold off on the stimulus news. And now we did change the 5-minute trend as well. So we'll see if the bulls can change the 15-minute trend. If we can look for a 15-minute higher low to form and then a higher high, that will be step one. And then we'll be eyeing resistance here of 115.77 on the short term. And taking a look at Tesla, but again, they're pinning Apple right around the 115 level, and Tesla, they're not letting it get over 450 really. And today we rejected at 438, sorry, 439 exactly, and pulled back. So definitely noticing the pinning action that they've been targeting on Tesla and Apple. But at this point, everything is still weekly bear flags. So keeping that in mind, trying not to get too bullish because we still are in weekly bear flags, weekly head and shoulders on Amazon and Microsoft. So until we can either form a higher low and higher high, change the weekly trend bullish, or we can break above to negate, you know, if we break above, say, the 120 level and we close above, then we can safely assume that that weekly bear flag will be negated. But that's pretty much all I had for individual tickers. So let's jump into the Canadian MJ. So you can see that on the list we have APHA with over 10% on the day so far. OGI with a nice move, 8%. CGC, 8%. Tilray, 7% and change. VFF, 5, close to 6. Hexo is up over 6 at one point, hit 74. Cron, 6%. ACB, so you're starting to see the whole sector catch a bid. And like I said, I did a video yesterday. You can check out my MJ due diligence video. It's basically my plan for the next few weeks, but essentially I've been loading up Hexo. CGC is my largest position right now. I have some APHA, and I also have TGOD. I also have Oxley. There's a few other companies I have in the States. So I have BAM, CWeb, a few other companies in the States, TrueLeave, Cresco. So again, check out my video from yesterday and you can learn more about that. But I knew something was up. I've been accumulating positions, and I've been talking about it for a while in my videos now, that I've basically been shorting SPY, shorting QQQ, and going long Canadian and US MJ. And I'm taking it a little slower with US MJ because it's run so much. So I started to build Canadian positions as I knew something was up. We have rumors that CGC may be buying out Afria. And now you can see Afria is just in a huge daily uptrend now, set a higher low and higher high, and this is an absolute stunning move from the higher low. We've bounced 33%. So absolutely rocket of a move on APHA's part. So nice to see that the whole sector is gaining some hype into the election. And like I said, CGC, APHA, whenever this daily bounce tops out, we got tons of space for a daily higher low to form, or a potential EQ. That's what I would expect probably by the size of this bounce. But don't underestimate these bulls, because we have the election coming up and it doesn't take long for momentum to shift and for the train to leave without you. And we could just form a quick bull flag. So there's a few scenarios. We could just set a quick bull flag and then higher high. You best believe that there's going to be lots of bulls waiting for a daily higher low to load up into the election. And again, this is Canadian MJ, so I don't expect them to see as much of a boost, but they will definitely see some hype as a result, but not nearly as much as the American companies. But like I said, we could potentially see a bull flag. We could see if we see a significant pullback, then it would favor an equilibrium and maybe a tightening range into the election. So maybe that's what the setup is that's forming right now, an EQ into the next 3 to 4 weeks. Maybe we see a bull flag and more hype. Maybe we just give it all up like we typically do, and we go right back down to the lows and test the daily higher lows. We'll have to wait and see, but all you need to do now is focus on a plan. So whether or not you're going to load up on first hourly oversold or the daily higher low, again, let me know in the comments below what your plan is. If you need help with a plan, let us know. Let us know in the comments below what tickers you're looking at. We'd be happy to help once we have the time. So taking a look at the US companies. So I did take a position in Truel at around the 25.50 level yesterday, 25.60, and you can see that we had huge gains, and we are forming a little bit of bearish RSI divergence here. So you can see that we're trending down on the RSI and we're trending up in price. So just be a little bit cautious there. We might see some consolidation here, nothing but healthy consolidation, looking for a 15-minute higher low. But as you can see, bulls in full control of TrueLeave, and BAM catching a bid today. Let's just take a look at the notable movers. So we have Harv. Said in my video yesterday that I really liked Harv, up 12%. Cura 8%. So I didn't buy any Cura yet, and in hindsight I probably should have, but I do think that we could see some more downside in the market, and as a result we may be able to get the American companies cheaper, especially with their share prices going 200-300%, if not more, since the March lows. So definitely waiting for a bit of a better opportunity to buy. So when TrueLeave hit, I think the high was $35, and exactly 35. And once it hit 22, that's when I started to get interested. And like I said, once we started to form this higher low on the daily and higher high, that's when I was interested. So around the mid 25s, that's when I got in, when we changed that daily trend. And you can see we have high, low, high, higher low, double top essentially, another higher low, and then a higher high. So most important support right now for me is 24.25 and then 23.63. So those are the levels I'll be watching. We do have resistance here at 27.55, which we're testing right now. And then after that, no resistance on the daily time frame until 30.30. 30.33. So that's pretty much all I had for you folks today. Check out my video again from yesterday if you want to learn a little bit more on my plan and where I see things going into the next few weeks. But just taking a look at CGC, it's approaching $17. So if we can close tomorrow, the last day of the week, if we can close above this moving average here, the 10-week moving average at 1605, and we are crossing here on the MACD and the stochastic, if we can cross those bullish and close above this blue line tomorrow at the end of the day, so whatever price prints at the end of once the bell rings at the end of the day, it needs to be above that 1605 level. And if it is, we could see a lot more upside in the cannabis space, probably in both US and the Canadian sector, in my opinion. And we are over the 50-day moving average now. So this 50-day was 1635. We did crush through that, and the 100-day is at 1685, and we're currently at 1682, maybe rejecting from there. So I'd like to see us close above that and not pull back too much, maybe set an hourly high or low, or a little bit of some healthy consolidation on the shorter term time frames. But we will be eyeing the 200-day moving average as well at 1723. So hopefully those support and resistance levels help you folks. Again, develop a game plan. If you're not sure, let me know in the comments below, and we can do our best to help you out. So again, in summary, into the next few weeks into the election, we're going to be watching whether or not we see more and more hype drive the space. And personally, I do think that we're going to see more news coverage on CNBC. We're going to see more political coverage, and they're going to probably start using that as a way to get voters to go out, people who wouldn't necessarily vote. I know in Canada that a lot of people, once they were looking to legalize cannabis, a lot of people, including myself, went and voted for the first time ever. So looking to see more narrative and just talking heads around the space going into the next few weeks. So again, make sure you have a plan, and don't go sleeping on MJ right now, because I think the momentum is starting to shift, and it could shift very, very quickly, and you do not want to get left in the dust without a plan. So those who fail to plan to fail, and those who have a plan have an unfair advantage over the rest in the market, because most people do not. Have yourself a great rest of your trading day. Again, it's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Consider liking the video if you like the content today, and subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified on any future updates. Take care, guys.